Court of Appeal. Justice Musinga is the new president of the Court of Appeal after Justice William Ouko was prompted to the Court of Appeal. Justice Musinga, who joined the judiciary in 2003, emerged the victor in the hotly contested post, defeating Justice Hannah Okwengu with 1 vote after he scooped 7 votes while Justice Okwengu got 6. Judge Musinga was admitted as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya in 1998. Let's just cross over live and listen.
Spend the next 5 minutes or so doing that. I wish to start by thanking the Almighty God for His great mercy. For this far, He has brought us. Indeed, I am deeply humbled and honored by the solemn oath of the office that I have just taken to serve as the 3rd President of the Court of Appeal of Kenya under our 2010 Constitution. I wish to assure all, and particularly my colleagues at the Court of Appeal, who bestowed upon me this honor of serving them as a first among equals, of my commitment to uphold the oath I have taken, maintain the highest standards of probity, and to discharge my duties to the best of my ability in a transparent, fair, and just manner, and to uphold the tenets of the Constitution of Kenya. I wish to also take this opportunity once again to welcome our brothers and sisters judges who joined this court on 3rd of June 2021 and are here with us today, this being their first public function as members of this court. Please join me in appreciating and welcoming them to the Court of Appeal. Karibuni sana. It is my prayer and belief that the remaining 4 nominated colleagues will join us soon. Chief Justice, colleagues, and invited guests, I wish at this juncture to acknowledge the excellent work done by my 2 brothers who have occupied this office before me. That is the Honorable Mr. Justice Paul Kiara Kariuki, now the Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, and the Honorable Mr. Justice William Ouko, Supreme Court Judge of Kenya. They set a high pace for service delivery during their respective tenures as the President of the Court. The Honorable Mr. Justice Kiara Kariuki laid a firm foundation upon assumption of office in 2013. In terms of facilitating access to justice, His Lordship, Mr. Justice Kariuki, presided over the devolution of the court from Nairobi to Malindi, Nyeri, and Kisumu, carrying out circuit sessions at Mombasa, Nakuru, and Eldoret. His Lordship introduced to the court the concept of Rapid Results Initiative, the RRIs, aimed at tackling and clearing case backlog. The service weeks that have been mounted since, in this regard, have assisted the court to deal with the ever-increasing problem of case backlog. On March 9th, 2018, my brother, the Honorable Mr. Justice William Ouko, assumed the presidency of the court and, building on his predecessor's foundation, shared his 5-point vision that was predicated upon providing a structured responsive, and accessible leadership, improving court operations and efficiency, building a robust and more harmonious jurisprudence, improving the court environment, and addressing the welfare issues of judges and staff. This agenda was embraced by all of us in the court as a roadmap that would allow the court to meet the ends of justice in an effective and efficient manner. In terms of access to justice, it is also during the tenure of the Honorable Mr. Justice William Oko that we further increased the presence of the court to the recently gazetted additional 5 sub-registries at Meru, Kisii, Busia, Kakamega, and Garissa. The Honorable Mr. Justice William Oko, having served for just about 3 years of his 5-year term, was still in the process of implementing the shared vision when the opportunity to move on to a higher office came calling. And I pledged to my colleagues when I was elected into this office that I would execute that vision that we had collectively adopted. This vision, which is work in progress, shall be implemented through the Court of Appeal Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024, complemented by other procedural instruments of the court, which we will be launching here today. The court, therefore, has a very clear roadmap of the path that will enable it to achieve its mission, and which is, I quote, to uphold the Constitution of Kenya, the rule of law, advanced indigenous and robust jurisprudence that can be benchmarked regionally and globally, and provide access to appellate justice for all, end of quote. And the vision that guides the court is to be, and I quote again, the ultimate custodian of appellate justice delivered with integrity, ease of access, effectiveness, responsiveness, transparency, and accountability to all. End of quote. I am committed to providing servant leadership that will enable the court deliver on its mandates in the challenging times we find ourselves in, but without compromising our shared values and principles. As the former US President Jimmy Carter once said, and I quote, "We must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles," unquote. This court is a collegial court, and I must commend the honorable judges for their exemplary commitment and hard work despite the very heavy load placed on us before the appointment of our 7 brothers and sisters who have joined us. The registrar of the court and his staff have also been exemplary in supporting judges of the court in their cardinal rule of administering justice. I must single out the very critical role played by the staff in the administrative support that enable the court to quickly embrace e-filing and conduct virtual hearings in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. I am glad to report that moving forward, we shall continue improving on the system and ensure that counsel and litigants are able to access real-time proceedings and orders of the court. The use of information communication technology in automating our services and the retooling of our staff to effectively serve consumers of our services will receive renewed focus moving forward. The great strides the court has undertaken would not have been possible without the immense support of our stakeholders. They have played their respective roles very well, and I wish to thank them most sincerely and request them not to tire, because in their magnanimity, it is the common man, and we say, or we refer to that common person as Wanjiku, who is the ultimate beneficiary. Please continue lending us a hand, and together we will provide accessible, fair, and transparent appellate justice to all. My administration, as the head of this court, will adopt an open-door policy. We will listen to ideas that will assist in promoting efficient and effective service delivery. We will consult with the leadership of the judiciary on a very regular basis and share our plans and priorities. To our external stakeholders, I humbly ask you not to hesitate to engage us. And on our part, we will ensure that we have robust court users committees and bar bench engagements in furtherance of our shared objectives. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, my career journey so far has been a long and fulfilling one. Indeed, God has been very faithful to me. I must sincerely thank my nuclear family, that is my dear, lovely wife, Lily Musinga, and our wonderful children, Alex, Victor, Michael, and Mwende, for your immense love and support that continues to inspire me every day to wake up and faithfully serve our country, in the hope that I may inspire them to realize their highest potential. I am eternally grateful. And long before my nuclear family came into being, there was a lovely couple that brought me to this world, raised me up in a godly and lovely manner, molded me to be a responsible young man, and have continued to love and support me and my nuclear family. Please help me to appreciate my mom and dad, Bishop Jonathan Musinga and Bethy Musinga. Can I request you just, Mom and Dad, can I just request you to stand? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I also appreciate other members of our big family, a number of them who are here today, for your continued love and presence and support in different ways in my life. God bless you. Thank you so much. As I conclude, I wish to reiterate my commitment to diligently serve as President of the Court of Appeal. And as the saying goes, service to God, service to man is service to God. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless our great nation of Kenya. It is now my pleasure to invite the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court to come and address us.
That is Justice Daniel Musinga there addressing his Assumption of Office ceremony as the President of the Court of Appeal. He has outlined what his administration will do under his leadership. Remember, there was that shared vision by the previous Court of Appeal president, that is William Ouko. He says he will execute the vision and it shall be implemented through the Court of Appeal Strategic Plan 2020 to 2024. He actually also mentioned that during his administration, there will be an open door policy. Let's just head back. Chief Justice Martha Koome is currently speaking.
Very dear to us, you are all carefully selected to be invited for this occasion. You are our partners and stakeholders in the administration of justice. Please feel most welcome, and good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, the great family of Justice Musinga. You've done a good job to give us a wonderful judge. As a recent past member of the Court of Appeal, it is an awesome joy for me to be here today to witness and celebrate the assumption of office of Mr. Justice Musinga as the President of the Court of Appeal. And I want to echo what my brother, Justice Ouko, said about collegiality and work ethic of the Court of Appeal, because we were able to realize the accomplishments he enumerated in the reduction of the case backlog through the combination of his stellar leadership and committed teamwork. We recognize that leadership is a privilege, but also a responsibility. That we too often focus on the privilege that obscures the role that we can play in ensuring the success of leaders, by each one of us bearing our individual responsibility with integrity and diligence. I wish, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate my brother Justice Ouko, who provided us with great leadership. And I take this opportunity to sincerely congratulate my brother Justice Musinga for having been elected as the President of the Court and for assuming office today. I have no doubt at all that the same tempo that was established by Justice Ouko will be sustained, not only in leadership, but also in developing rich jurisprudence and sustaining the collegial team, work ethic, and commitment. My brother and sister judges, ladies and gentlemen, these are difficult times, like everybody has said, for us in the judiciary. And I want to acknowledge that we have acquitted ourselves admirably under the circumstances, especially during these very difficult times of the COVID-19 global pandemic. I particularly want to applaud the Court of Appeal and indeed all judges, the registrars who work there, judicial officers and staff, who have been working with less than adequate human resources. It has been said here, the capacity of this court until a week ago was almost at its threshold, only 13 judges out of an establishment of 30. And yet, with stoic determination and commitment, they have been able to post results that Justice Ouko talked about. I'm glad to announce that the Court of Appeal judges will now revert to sitting in the Court of Appeal stations outside of Nairobi that have been inoperative since 2019 due to the shortage. The judges now have a heavy task of tackling the backlog of cases. We have heard how they grew from 4,000 to 8,000 within a space of 2 years because of endemic shortage. Further, in the Environment and Land Court, we've all been told if you found a case today in 2021, you cannot get a hearing until 2024. In the Employment and Labor Relations Court, cases could not even be listed for hearing as there were not enough judges. For instance, a single judge currently serving in this court in Kisumu County, also serves 9 other neighboring counties. And you wonder what quality of judgment or quality of justice such a judge would render, other than just hearing applications and granting orders. And even as we celebrate and welcome most warmly our 7 new justices of the Court of Appeal, this is indeed a moment which is bitter and it is at the same time sweet. And it would be remiss not to remember our 4 colleagues who should have been with us today, but for reasons not known to us, they are not. I want to take this opportunity to reiterate my position as the Chief Justice and as the Chairperson of the Judicial Service Commission, and state that all persons recommended by the JSC and as directed by the Constitution must be appointed as judges. That is the law. I am a judge. I do not want to enter into any controversy because at the end of the day, I shouldn't. I'm an adjudicator. But I'm duty-bound to reiterate this position and continue to call on His Excellency the President to appoint the remaining 6 judges, 4 of whom would be joining this court. That said, ladies and gentlemen, the difficult times the judiciary is facing and the attacks on the courts and the judicial independence are not new, but they require our renewed resolve at an individual and institutional level. At an individual level, every judicial officer, every judge has a duty to safeguard their independence, and especially the independence of their judicial decisions, to be guided by our oath of office that compels us that we must decide cases without any fear, favor, bias, affection, ill will, prejudice, any political, religious, or other influence. This individual judicial independence is especially important during times such as this, and indeed all the time. As I said during my own assumption of office only 3 weeks ago, the independence of the judiciary remains under serious threat of capture, and the culprits, unfortunately, are not only limited to agencies within government or politics, but also include private sector, civil society, business community, others who I will not name. As we continue to hear voices directing judges on how to decide or not to decide cases, sometimes we are told not to dare touch a matter. And then you wonder what happened to the oath of office, not to fear, not to decide based on fear. We are told not to decide, not to exercise our judicial minds otherwise than in a certain way. And one wonders what happened to the principle of even matters that are pending in court. To me, these unsolicited commands are tantamount to interference with the judge's independence, as the Constitution forbids any party or authority from directing us in the discharge of our duties. As I undertake to defend and protect our institutional independence, I would prevail upon all parties also to respect what is stated in the Constitution, to respect judicial independence of judges and not direct judges on what to do. It has been said many times, and it bears repeating, that the independence of the judiciary will remain a mere illusion and what Indians call wiro aho a whisper, as long as it is not secured by its own independent fund. And I apologize, Honorable Speaker, I will have to speak about funding. Mandy did not warn me that she had given a secret undertaking to you. We need funding. to undertake the various activities, programs, projects that are required for us to discharge duty. At the institutional level, I plan to continue to pursue the operationalization of the Judicial Fund and to ensure systems and structures are in place for accountability. The national budget for the financial year 2021-2022 was only learned yesterday, and of the 3.3 trillion planned, judiciary only got 17 billion. This has been the indicative budget amount for the judiciary for the first several years. And Mr. Speaker, you can see how dilapidated we are operating from this museum, which I've wondered why the Ministry of Health has not condemned it as unfit for human habitation. We have 36 other courts buildings that are almost complete but cannot be occupied because we have no money to complete those buildings. Kenyans travel an average of 175 kilometers to access justice. So, Mr. Speaker, I note that even though the judiciary is decentralized across the country and employs over 5,000 staff, it is half of what your parliament gets. And we have no issue with what you get, but we are saying if we have to tackle the backlog of cases, if we have to adopt technology to enhance efficiency across the courts, if we have to improve the infrastructure, because it is imperative also for the judiciary to serve the public with dignity, and taking justice closer to the people, increasing the speed of resolution of cases, and coordination of the justice across, we require funds allocated to the judiciary. The judiciary earned the benefit of funding from the World Bank through what we call a Judicial Performance Improvement Project for the past 5 years. However, even though this funding was significant, judiciary's day-to-day work cannot depend on donor funding, and I'm most grateful to the donors who have come in aid to support us, especially in training. And therefore, we continue to call on Parliament and the National Treasury to fully fund the judiciary's budget. While I assumed office at the end of the budget cycle, I'm requesting that even before the mid-year review of the national budget, the judiciary's budget should be fully funded, including activating the judiciary fund, because when we have our own fund, then we can be able to control it, and we can even be able to fundraise from other sources. My vision, which I have shared repeatedly since I assumed office, is that we will continue to build on the firm foundations by our predecessors. I will only hand a focus to a bottom-up approach towards improving access to justice, and especially the quality of justice. This is because I appreciate the two blueprints have dealt with the transformation of the institution of the judiciary, and we also have a duty to seek to transform our society, because justice cuts across everybody. It is in the interest of everybody that justice is done to them and to the other person. My dream, therefore, is to work with the entire judiciary, the President of the Court of Appeal, and other stakeholders to build lasting partnerships in and out of the administration of justice. This is with the view of building their capacity with knowledge that will help them bear their own agency as champions for justice. When everybody becomes an agent and champion for justice, this is when we'll start looking for our own indigenous solutions that leads us to seek always reconciliation and peace. Moreover, This way, many will avoid violence and conflict and other pitfalls or black spots that lead to endless court cases. While this might sound radical, it is the vision of the 2010 Constitution for the judiciary to not only be transformed, but also to transform the country into a democratic, participatory, accountable, and egalitarian society. As we celebrate the transition in leadership at the helm of the Court of Appeal and welcome the new justices, I want us to stop and reflect on our resilience as a court and as an institution. This resilience is a function of both good leadership and a strong team. We often focus on the person in leadership to the exclusion of others, and yet the whole requires both the leader and the team. We need each other, and together we can continue to sustain this great institution. And we do that by each playing our judicial role and by collectively holding each other up to accountability. We are as strong as our weakest link. This doesn't mean we cannot be at times dejected or feel like circumstances are unjust or unfair, because we are human. Our career, which is also a calling, can be lonely, and we must lean on each other for support and strength. Most importantly, we must remember our constitutional law and acquit ourselves accordingly, exercising authority on behalf of the people and for and on behalf of the people as guided by the Constitution. We are servants of the people. In this regard, the Court of Appeal, as the court of last resort for the vast majority of legal matters, has an important role to play in terms of providing leadership and influence on jurisprudence over other courts. Justice Ouko has spoken very eloquently about the Court of Appeal as the curator of judges. We were all nurtured and maintained as jurists in that court, and our simultaneous promotion to the office of the CJ and the judge of the Supreme Court, and that of my predecessor, the Honorable retired Justice Maraga, and the Deputy Chief Justice, the Honorable Philomena Mwiru, in 2016, are all testament to the great leadership provided by that court. I want to acknowledge
Right, we apologize for that technical hitch, but let's just cross over back and continue listening to Chief Justice Martha Koome.
Mark this important milestone. I'm encouraged and excited at the possibilities of the Court of Appeal. In closing, I want to reaffirm my support for Justice Musinga as he assumes the leadership. Justice Musinga, congratulations. We look forward to celebrating you. Thank you. Sorry, I react to carpets. Yeah, we look forward to celebrating you and additional accomplishments under your able stewardship. Thank you, and God bless you. And now, it is my singular honor to invite the Honorable Mr. Justice Steve Katembo, Justice of Appeal, to come and say a citation about our retiring Justice Ouko. Welcome.
Thank you.
That is Chief Justice Martha Koome at the Assumption of Office ceremony of Justice Daniel Musinga, who is the newly appointed president of the Court of Appeal. A number of things were mentioned by the Chief Justice there. She weighed in and reiterated on the issue of the appointment of the 40 judges. She said that all 40 judges need to be appointed by the president as per the constitution. She equally asked that the independence of the judiciary to be respected as it remains under threat. She did mention also that in the past 2 years, the backlog of cases has gone from 4,000 to 8,000 due to shortage of judges.